I was asked in 1999 by the International Trumpet Society to compose a piece for the great John Faddis, one of the great jazz trumpet virtuosos. And my professional ensemble, the Great American Music Ensemble, in 1999 happened to coincide with the centennial of the great Duke Ellington's birth. And something clicked, and I thought, wow, that giant of American music, America's, in my opinion, foremost composer, and the leader of maybe the most outstanding instrumental ensemble in the history of Western music. And I thought, John Faddis, trumpet, Duke. There's a legacy of the giants of the Ellington Band, going from Bubber Miley to Cootie Williams to Rex Stewart to Ray Nance and Clark Terry and Cat Anderson, and I thought, that would be a lot of fun. And so I made this extended piece. I use fragments of Ellington's and Billy Strayhorn's and Bubber Miley's tunes in there. I use pretty much all of Boy Meets Horn, the feature of Rex Stewart and the Ellington Band in the 30s. And I changed it considerably. I turned Concerto for Cootie into a waltz, but the melody is never stated, and I modified the chord changes so dramatically that maybe only a real musical connoisseur would see a connection, but it's there. And so that was the rationale behind Dukal Bugles. There's no such word as Dukal, but I thought it was a good word for this piece. The Intercontinental Concerto came about when Rex asked if I would write a large piece for him, and we're both faculty members in the Department of Music at Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia. And I was very fortunate to receive a grant from the university to write this piece. And so I received this grant and request, and I thought, what am I going to do? And my son had given me a book by Jared Diamond, which had won the Pulitzer Prize, entitled Guns, Germs, and Steel. It's essentially about the development of mankind starting in Africa, because we all, if we could trace our roots back, we all come from Africa, moving on to Asia, moving to Europe, moving to Australia, which had a landmass across it, moving to North America, again, landmass across where the Bering Strait is, and then moving down into South America. So I thought, this could be a very, very interesting proposition to write a piece on all the continents of the world where mankind inhabits. Antarctica was not a possibility because I really didn't know any music about penguins. So I did a long research on my own, checking out indigenous musics from all the continents, folk musics. And I did this for months before I started writing. And then I started with the Genesis in Africa. There's actually supposed to be an electronic introduction to this, which we won't hear. I wrote this the sort of Big Bang kind of an idea, and then we emerge out of Africa. And then, but it continues with connecting elements between all of the continents. And Rex plays different trumpet on each one of these. He starts off in Africa with a slide trumpet, which is extremely difficult to play. It's really a soprano trombone. When we go to Asia, which is based loosely on Japanese gakkaku music, he plays piccolo trumpet with a straight mute. When we go to Europe, I have him go to flugelhorn. And in Europe, I actually use a Bach chorale at the end, and the melody from the Bach chorale at the very beginning. Bach didn't write it. It's anonymous. Nobody knows who wrote it. But I reharmonized it and did a bunch of other stuff. And actually, I have a double chorale at the end for any musicologist who wants to know. And then we go into Australia, and here Rex plays cornet because we combine the elements of the English Protestants and the Aborigines and the English military band. So Rex is playing cornet, and we use the Waltzing Matilda on that, more or less their best known anthem from there. And then we go to North America, and Rex is playing plunger trumpet and quasi Cootie Williams type of style because it's North American and the blues. I use W.C. Handy's and Hager's blues on this. Mess with it, of course, but that's the nature of what we do. And then we go into South America, and finally Rex gets to play regular open B-flat trumpet. And on South America, I use a little tune by Ernesto Nazareth, who was looked upon as being more or less the Scott Joplin of South America, of Brazil. And it's a little tune called Odeon. It was a little parlor piece, but we changed it. And then right before the final chorus, Rex goes back and reprises all of the previous. You'll hear Africa, Asia, Europe, Australia, North America. And then he's into his final groove, does a large cadenza at the end, and then we have this cluster of tritones to close the piece out. And finiti.